All right, not a good angle on this rink. I'll do my best to, zoom in as I can. Playing Militia, starting lineup: Chalicki, Reynolds, and Hollow with Campbell and Rabicki. Militia controlling in their zone. Chalicki pushing to the sideboard. Militia come through the neutral zone. They dump it on net. Goes over to Cutting, who's in net today for this game. Cutting puts it into the corner. Militia battling Campbell in the corner. Behind the net now. Militia come away with it. Got a shot. Gets blocked. Militia on the far side. Go D to D. And quick shot into Cutting and save. Pulauskas, Nietzsche, and Letcher come on. 21:49 to go in the first. Militia win that face-off back. Pulauskas comes in hard, gets the puck loose. Puck over to Nietzsche, or Letcher. Letcher goes down, but gets the puck back, gets it over to Miller. Miller and Onak on D right now. Militia on the near board and into the neutral zone. Nietzsche dumps it back in. Behind the net now, Pulauskas gets a stick on it. Puck goes high off of the glass into the neutral zone to Miller. Miller to Onak. Onak over to Pulauskas. Pulauskas still working, tries to get that stick away. Militia takes it back, puts it over to the far board. In through the neutral zone, over for Letcher. Onak working in the corner. Took a little stumble, but so did Militia. Bring it back forward and into the middle of the ice. Miller off the board and chipped away by Letcher. Goes behind the net. Militia still in control. Puck behind Cutting. Centering pass goes wide behind the net over to the near board with Pulauskas. Pulauskas wins the battle, brings the puck out into the neutral zone, gets past the red line and dumps it in on net. Go for a change. Koshkowski back in the lineup today with Carter and Credidio. Brzgintis and Aldridge at D. Credidio gets the puck out over to Carter. Loses his puck. Militia take it back in the neutral zone, but Credidio is there. Still a little messy in the neutral zone, and Militia bring it forward. Shot. Cutting pushes into the corner. Puck comes off of the corner and back over to Militia control. Into the neutral zone. Drop pass. Shot hit by Kruger and into Cutting's glove. Bergeron, Brown, and Kruger are out now. Brown with pressure. Militia puts it forward. Kruger gets a good stick on and puts the puck in deep. Brown coming in to help get the puck out. Militia go into the near corner and move it out. Puck to the neutral zone. Intercepted by Bergeron. Chipped forward and back in. Militia take it back into their zone and regroup. Puck goes out of play. I'm going to see if I can change area. I don't have the laptop. I don't have any space for it, so I'm not going to be able to do text updates. Brown, Bergeron, and Kruger stay. 9:16 to go in the first. Puck back to Rabicki. Rabicki gets it to Brown. Brown dumps it in hard. Bergeron ties up his man in the corner. Puck comes over to the near board and then across. Militia bring it through the neutral zone, get it dumped into the back corner. Rabicki is there, gets it out and up to Brown. Brown chips it out and goes for a change. Bergeron goes for a change. Campbell goes for a change. Kruger gets a stick under him and takes a spill. Puck back in the neutral zone and then deflected out of play. 18:41 to go in the first. Paulo, Reynolds, and Chilicki are back out. Puck back behind for Onak. Onak brings it over to the corner, passing to Reynolds. Reynolds takes it down off of a stick. Paulo gloves it, gets a stick on it over to Chilicki. Chilicki shot on, saved it into the corner, back out to Onak. Onak at the point. Puts a shot in, deflected off of Paulo's stick, saved Militia. Militia get control, put it back into the neutral zone, and then dump it in and go for a change. Cutting, slows it down behind the net. Miller pushes it forward. Militia working through the neutral zone, dump it in deep. Cutting again, stopping it, gets it up the boards for Paulo. Bounces off over to Onak. Onak ahead for Reynolds. Reynolds through the neutral zone. He's got Chilicki with him, centering pass to Chilicki is deflected. Militia go back the other way. Prisgintis and Aldridge come out on D. Reynolds chips forward. Militia dump it back in. Aldridge to Chilicki. Chilicki's attempt to get it out of the zone is blocked by Militia. They put it back into the corner. Militia circling, dumps it in deep. Prisgintis chips it hard over to the near board and out. It's going to go for an icing. Nope, no icing, didn't quite make it. Good job by Nietzsche on the change to tie up in the corner. Nietzsche still battling. Letcher and Klauskas have come on. Militia got past D, but good opportunity or good stop by Aldridge to tie up his man and then get the puck over to Letcher. Letcher cross for Prisgintis. Prisgintis bringing through, shot is into the shin guards of Militia and back to the neutral zone. Pulauskas now weaving past a couple of defenders. Nietzsche gathers it. Puck comes off of the board and over to Letcher, takes a cross check. Let it go. Puck in the middle hits off of Rybicki's stick. Kushkowski is out now. Puck over to Rybicki, to Pulauskas. Pulauskas dumps and changes. Militia take it behind their net. Cross ice. Carter, good stick. Chips it over to Kushkowski. Credidio's in the middle of the ice. Shot wide. Rings around for Rybicki. Rybicki down to Credidio. Credidio. Kushkowski's down. Carter, big hit. So Kushkowski took a big hit and isn't getting up. Not sure. It's definitely hurt. A lot of pushing and shoving. I'm going to shift position, see if I can't get a better spot from the middle of the ice. I thought this would be a better spot, but it's not. I think it's the hip spot. Yep. Not a good position. I thought it would be better. It's not. All right, Kushkowski comes out. Bergeron comes on. Bergeron and Bergeron, Nietzsche, Pulauskas. Puck into the corner. Pulauskas gets in the way. Militia bring it forward and into the neutral zone. Dumped in. Over to Campbell. Campbell for Pulauskas. Puts it over to Nietzsche. Nietzsche. Cross for Bergeron. Bergeron dumps it in. Puck comes out to Onak. Kruger's come on. Puck in the middle over to Kruger and into the corner. Kruger battling. Bergeron is out there. Brown's come on. Brown gets a stick on it. Got Kruger with him. Still has it. Over to Onak. Onak, shot in front. Brown settles it down, takes a shot. Deflected, goes wide. Letcher's come back on. Over to Miller. Miller looking for Brown. Misses, it goes all the way down. Cutting. Gets it to Onak. Onak looking for what is available. Flipping it high up for Brown. Brown gets a stick on it, bounces into the zone. Kruger tries to get his stick down. D to D for Militia, and then they bring the puck in. The puck behind the net for cutting into the corner. Aldridge gets a body on. Puck to the near board. Miller and Kruger. Letcher wide for Militia into the corner. Aldridge comes down. Militia working along the boards. Kruger in the corner with Miller. Chipping it forward for Letcher. Militia put it back in. Behind the net, looking for a pass over to the near board. Up to the D. Cross ice for Militia. Brown gets a stick on it. Goes behind the net. Up to Letcher in skates, still battling. Still out. Militia winds up getting a hold of it. Kruger chasing, lifts the stick, goes over to Aldridge, and Kruger's going to get a hooking penalty. Little unsure of the penalty call, but we're going to have a kill. I apologize for not having the laptop going. Couldn't connect to the Wi-Fi in this rink for some reason. So we're on the kill. Reynolds, Paulo, Campbell, and Prisgintis. Fury cleared all the way down to Militia's end. Militia come out from behind, drop the puck, and carry in with speed. Campbell, good stick, pushes the puck to the corner. D to D for Militia, carrying up to the near board, and a shot off of Cutting's pad, and up front, Paulo is there. Gintis, good stick, knocks it away. Militia still with it. Battling on the far board, and then back to the point, and another shot off of Cutting over to the near board. Militia working it off of the point. Looking for a slot. Backdoor hits the side of the net, and Cutting also knocks the net loose. 12:30 to go in the first. Minute 7 left in the kill. Still 0-0. Letcher comes on with Nietzsche. Letcher takes the face-off. Militia wins it back, and they go cross ice. Back up to the point. Working a shot on their power play on the near board. Back up to the point and to the middle. Back down low. Shot deflected by Onak. Onak looks like he got a little bit hurt off of that one, but he's still working. Rubicki down to try to get a hold of the offensive player looking for the centering pass. Off to the point, shot, deflected in front and into the netting. .12:01 to go in the first 38 seconds left in the penalty kill. Reynolds and Paulo come back on. Face-off one back by Militia. Paulo giving some pressure. Shot in front, kicked away by Cutting, and then by Onak into the corner, reversing over to the far board. Reynolds comes away with it and then just chips it in, takes a hit. Militia back with it. Militia through the neutral zone. Reynolds gets a stick up, back over to the D for Militia, cross ice now. 5 seconds to go in the kill. Up to the point, shot into Cutting's glove, and 1 second remaining in the kill. Aldridge comes out with Prisgintis. Bergeron. No, we're gonna go Chilicki and Bergeron. Chilicki to take the draw. Face off, controlled by Fury. Over to Chilicki. Chilicki's shot, save. So Kruger, Bergeron, and Chilicki. Kruger's gonna go again for a cross check. Puck over to Chilicki and blows it dead. So Kruger, who just came out of the box, is going back in the box. .11:05 to go in the first. We'll send out Letcher and Nietzsche. Letcher takes the draw, wins it back to Prisgintis. Prisgintis loses it behind the net. Militia take it up to the D, goes back down low. Aldridge off of the glass up for Letcher, bouncing off of a stick. Letcher kicking it, gets a hold of it. Militia able to knock it away and bring it back in deep. Aldridge trying to pin his man, goes up the board. Letcher does well to get a stick on, and the puck comes into the neutral zone. Nietzsche, good job forcing Militia to send it all the way back. Letcher comes up. Campbell comes on. Aldridge goes for a change. Militia bringing in through the neutral with speed. Letcher comes into a challenge. They do a drop pass, and then the backdoor defender comes in. Shot into Cutting's glove. 1:11 remaining on the kill. 10:15 to go in the first. Paulo, Reynolds, Campbell, and Miller. Face off underneath. Paulo on the puck. Comes loose. Militia get a hold of it and bring it up to their D. Back onto the near board. Up to the point. Cross ice to the far board. Back to the point. Down low. Shot in front. Comes loose again in front. Another opportunity. Good save by Cutting. Militia on the far board. Back up to the point. Back to the far board winger. Up to the point again. Down low. Walked in. Shot. Cutting. Save. Comes loose again to Militia. Militia on the near board. 28 seconds to go on the kill. Back up to the point. Over to the sideboard. Back to the point. Militia working for a shot. Bring it back down again. Broken stick. Paulo puts it on. Had two guys chasing at him. Goes for a change. Letcher comes on. Pulauskas comes on. 3 seconds to go. Puck dumped in onto Onak. Onak and Rybicki at D now. Nietzsche, Pulauskas, Letcher are out. The penalty is over, and Kruger headed to the bench. So Nietzsche over onto the near board, throws the puck in front. It goes wide. Pulauskas knocks it away. Letcher sends it back to Onak. Onak over to Rubicki. Rubicki crossed the red line and dumped in. Puck comes around hard. Letcher comes into the far board. Puck flipped over top of him, but Nietzsche's there and puts it back in the neutral zone over to Pulauskas. Pulauskas on the near board, working over, pass to Letcher. Letcher gets tied up. Militia takes it away and into the, trying to put it in the near board. Letcher loses the puck in his feet. Good job by Pulauskas to get it to him. Puck bounces past Rubicki. Nietzsche takes it and puts it over to Rubicki on the near board. Rubicki chips it forward for Letcher. Letcher tries to dump it in. Goes around for Militia over to the far board. Pulauskas going to go for a change. Carter comes off. Carter comes off the bench and puck goes in deep. Onak has it. Onak does well to avoid a check, still carrying the puck up. Gives the opportunity for Fury to change. Onak getting past, backhand shot, misses the net behind. Puck in deep now. Letcher puts it in. Carter working on the board. Puck goes across. Taken away by Letcher. Letcher goes for a change, and Credidio comes on. Kruger gets the puck taken away from him. Campbell takes it out of the air and puts it back in. That's offsides, but neither ref is in position. Militia come back around, past Kruger into the zone. Campbell tries to get a stick on it. Militia put it around the boards. Back down low. Militia working against Kruger. Aldridge gets it out, tries to get it up to Credidio. Gets past Credidio and a shot on from Militia's D. 6:38 to go in the first. Paulo, Chalicki, and Reynolds come out. Paulo wins that back. Prisgintis pushes it over to Chalicki. Militia step in front of it and take it away. Centering pass misses, goes back to the D. Militia shot high and wide off of the glass and out of the zone. Chalicki comes up front to give some pressure. Reynolds is with him. Reynolds comes over to the far board. And Militia goes D to D. Prisgintis carries it in and dumps it in on net. Militia goaltender flips it out of the glove. The Militia D put it behind. Chalicki coming forward. Puck comes over to the near board and across ice. Good job by Prisgintis to knock it away. Reynolds couldn't quite get a hold of it, but Paulo is there. Paulo got Chalicki too far ahead. It goes into the corner. Chalicki avoids a check. Gets it over to Paulo. Paulo to Reynolds. Reynolds, quick shot. Save by Militia. Good puck movement. Good opportunity. 5:43 to go in the first. Kruger, Brown, and Bergeron are going to come on with Onak and Miller. Face-off deflects off of Brown's helmet. Miller keeps it in, gets it over to Bergeron. Bergeron takes a hard run into the boards. Militia able to dig it out. Puck over, deflected behind the net. Miller gets to it, gets a shove. Still working on the far board. Puck is trapped. Militia move on. There's a trip. We're going to go on to power play. So Kruger draws a trip. 5:09 to go, and we'll get our power play unit on. Still 0-0. So Chalicki, Reynolds, and Paulo come on with Onak and Campbell. face-off, controlled by Militia, over to the near board. Reynolds takes a little bit of a stumble. Chalicki gets it back to Campbell. Campbell to Onak. Onak back to Campbell. Working puck for a shot. Puck in front, save. Chalicki comes away with it. Chips over for Reynolds, bounces off of Reynolds and over to Campbell. Campbell back down to Reynolds and over to Chalicki. Chalicki back up for Campbell. Campbell over to Onak. Onak down low for Chalicki. Chalicki back to Onak. Onak back up to Campbell. Campbell to the point, over to Onak, back down for Chalicki. Chalicki working it back up to Onak. Onak down for Chalicki. Got Reynolds in the middle. Puts it back to Onak. Onak to Campbell. Campbell looking for a pass. Over to Reynolds. Reynolds circling. Backdoor for Chalicki. Bounces. Hits Chalicki and bounces out of the zone. 56 seconds to go. Militia changes. Doesn't have control. Reynolds gets an opportunity. Shot is deflected and into the netting. Militia go for a wholesale change. Reynolds makes him pay for it, but the goaltender are able to get a piece of it. 50 seconds to go in the power play, 3:59 in the period. Nietzsche, Letcher, Polauskas come on. Przgintis and Rabicki at D. It's super windy. You can hear the puck into the corner. Militia clear it all the way down. Cutting, slows it down and leaves it for Rabicki. Rabicki behind the net. Gets it over to Letcher. Letcher across for Przgintis. Przgintis drops for Polauskas. Polauskas shot, deflected out. Militia get a hold of it and clear it out. Good job by Letcher to read where the puck's going. Gets in the way of Militia. 16 seconds to go. Militia gonna clear it all the way down. Might get one rush left before it clears up, but not sure that they'll be able to get all the way in the zone. 2 seconds to go. Got another penalty. Pass to Letcher. So the question is, was the penalty expired at the time of the goal? And so did that count for the second penalty? But they were already on the kill. And so if it occurred after, then that would have negated the penalty now. Because so we scored on the second penalty, which means that we will not get another power play. Penalty was over. Cutting headed to the bench for the second penalty, and we scored. So Letcher from Przgintis, I believe. 2:56 to go, 1-0 Fury. Yeah. Paulo dumps it in. Puck over to the near board, or far board. Onak gets a hold of it, tries to dump it in, deflects off of Militia. Militia's got a guy going back. Good play. That was a slash. Militia take it back. Campbell changes. Good job to knock that away. Chalicki has Reynolds coming into the zone. He waits, dumps it down deep. Cross ice for Campbell. Intercepted by Militia. Kruger comes on. Kruger tags up. The guy wasn't watching. Kruger tagged up and still's claimed offsides. Militia behind the net. Kruger giving some annoyance there. Carter intercepts that pass, brings it in. Carter, Credito, and Kruger now for offense. Rabicki and Campbell at D. A lot of slashing going on right now. Not a lot of calling. Campbell, good job, get a stick on it. Puck goes over to Carter. Carter goes for a pass to Kruger, misses, and goes into the zone. Carter gets that puck over to Campbell. Campbell up for Credidio. Credidio cross ice for Kruger, but Carter gets a stick on it, and Militia take it back. Good job by Campbell, getting in the way of that. Kruger sends it in deep. Credidio gets there. Militia flip it out of the zone and over to Prisgintis. Prisgintis to Credidio. Credidio gets a stick on it, goes for a change. Militia try to get it in the middle of the ice. Aldridge takes the spill. Good hit by Nietzsche to get the puck away. Nietzsche avoids a hit, which would have been really late. Should have been called. Militia back through the neutral zone. Over to the far board. Carried in. Pulauskas, Nietzsche, and Letcher are back on the ice. 36 seconds to go. Letcher flips that puck to the far board. Nietzsche gets his hit back on. Prisgintis tying up his man. Puck back to the D. Deflected off of Pulauskas' stick. Militia over to the near board. Militia tried to get a shot past. Puck flipped in front. Gage with a couple of saves on that play. Letcher gets it out of the zone. Avoids the check. And he's free in front. Letcher, shot, rebound. 2 chances by Letcher there with 1 second left. And that'll be the end of the period. Militia having all kinds of trouble with the speed of the game right now.
I feel like you didn't commentate hard enough on the last one.
Well, I lost sight of it for a little bit.
Almost won.
All right, so we're going to ice cut. Zam's coming on.
bit too.
Yeah.
Air cool.
That's what Dave said at the windy.
Yeah.
Watch any of the game?
Huh?
Watch any of the game? Wasn't a blowout.
No, it wasn't on TV. I couldn't find
It
it.
was out for half.
Oh.
I watched some of it. They were winning when they turned it on, and then they lost.
I took the 8.5 points though.
Did you?
I knew it. That's how Iowa is.
Yeah.
They'll always, in fact, I'm surprised they didn't beat it.
What else we got hurt? And end of the game,
Oh, so they might have had a chance if they didn't get hurt. I knew they were going to cover. I knew it. I knew it.
the D is so good. And we got an interception. I was the first one to go.
Yeah. I had the over in the Illinois game. That was when I had Notre Dame game. That was big. And I took LSU.
Okay. Chilicki, Paulo, and Reynolds come out to start the second half. Militia control that face-off and dump it in deep. Campbell and Rubicki are out on D. Pass into the middle, intercepted by Paulo. Paulo gets it over to Reynolds. Reynolds, puck gets knocked away and sent back in by Militia. Bounces off of the board over to Cutting. Cutting gets it to Rubicki. Rubicki, pass gets deflected. Militia take it in front. Good save by Cutting. Up the near board, taken away by Chilicki. Chilicki puts it in front. It hits off of the Militia player and goes in. Puck knocked away by Paulo. Militia bringing it into the neutral zone. Letchers come on, trying to get past Onak, and Onak pushes it into the corner. Militia center again. Puck, a lot of feet and sticks. Cutting covers. 21:36 remaining. Pulauskas and Nietzsche come out. So we've got Miller and Onak at D, Pulauskas, Nietzsche, and Letcher. Puck bounces off of the boards in the neutral zone. Good job by Letcher to tie up his man. Knocked away by Pulauskas. Pulauskas gets it over to a Militia player after he knocks it out, and Militia puts it back in the zone. Onak goes into the corner. Militia tried to chip it out. Nietzsche throws it out of play. Face-off, won by Nietzsche, back to Miller. Miller puts it over to Letcher. Letcher through the neutral zone. Leaves it for Pulauskas. Pulauskas takes on two guys. Guy's holding his stick. Pulauskas gives a little shove, get his stick back. Pass misses Pulauskas over to Militia and through the neutral zone. Save Cutting. Another shot goes wide, bouncing over to Miller. Miller gets hooked, no call. Militia put one in front. Cutting hits it down with his blocker. Cross for the D, down low. Militia trying to center, good stick by Miller. Letcher knocks the guy off of the puck. Militia's still with it, however. Puck into the corner. Down low. Onak working on his man. Militia get it over to the corner, back behind, centering, deflected, and Onak takes it away. Onak tries to send it for an icing, but intercepted. Carter comes out. Militia go for a change, dump it in deep. One man on. Miller gets pinned. They get a shot on, Cutting, save. Behind the net, over to Kruger. Kruger gets it up for Carter. Carter tries to chip past. Kruger knocks it away into the corner, gets taken down. No call. Good job by Creditio, knock a puck away. back into the zone. And we got a slash. Credidio's gonna go for the slash that he hit on, and we'll go to the kill again. So Credidio's gonna sit for 2. 19:26 to go. 1-0 Fury. Paulo wins that face-off, gets it over to Campbell. Campbell dumps it in, takes a late hit. And Militia set it up behind. Militia are going to drop it to this guy. There it is. They're going to bring it in. Back up and across. Into the middle, shot deflected by Aldridge. Militia still in control. One time, goes wide off of Paulo. 18:51 to go, 124. Militia put it on the near board. Back up and across. Puck in front. None of the officials are in space. That puck definitely came out of the zone. Militia working the near board. Back into the point. Over again. Cross ice. Rethinking back to the point one time. Blocked by Paulo and out into the neutral zone. 55 seconds to go. Fury get a change. Campbell comes on, and so does Nietzsche. Cross ice pass. Back up to the D. One time. Save, cutting. Over to the far board. Nietzsche is there. He ties up his man. Puck gets over to Campbell. Campbell, high and out, sends it down into the corner. Puck behind the net. Militia just leave it there. They're going to get a trailer. And they drop it back again for the trailer. Carry forward. Good job by Rybicki to step in front. Militia lose the puck. Rybicki gets it up, but not out. 9 seconds to go on the kill. Back to the point. Over to the side. Shot. Cutting. Save. The net's off, and we get a whistle. 3 seconds to go on the kill. 17:29 in the period. Face off, pushed back. Militia keep it in. Puck comes out. Militia take it all the way back down. Penalty is expired. 17:17 to go. Still 1-0 Fury. Militia come out from behind the net, go over to the far board, looking for a cross ice pass, but push it back to the D. Up and in feet. Pulauskas steps in the way, but Militia still with control into the corner and on the backboard. Good hit by Campbell. Puck comes up the near board into the middle. Shot is deflected. Goes into the corner. Campbell tries to knock that away. Kruger gets a hit on. Puck over to the sideboard. Pulauskas is there. Rybicki gets it out. And Letcher comes after it on the near board. Good job by Letcher to tie up. Militia have to regroup. Kruger gets a body in the way. Shot deflected. Goes into the corner. Puck on the near board and up. Kruger is there. Sends it back in. We touch up. Oh, it goes for an icing. So we're going to go with Paulo, Reynolds, and Chalicki. Face-off controlled by Militia. Goes up to the D and they put it back in. Paulo puts it over to Miller. Miller in the corner tries to get it out. Deflected by Militia and back into the corner. Paulo is there. Gets a hold of it. Puck protection, gets a little bit of contact, but Onak picks it up and brings it in. Onak, puck gets knocked away. Paulo puts it back in deep for Onak. Onak then dumps it into the corner. Chalicki comes in. Puck over to Miller. Miller shot, hits the blocker and back into the corner. Chilicki working in the corner, goes to Reynolds. Reynolds cross side for Onak. Shot off of the post and behind the net. Reynolds comes in to help. Chilicki gets a hit on. Miller comes up to give some pressure. Reynolds takes it away. Over for Kruger. Chilicki backdoor for Miller, goes wide. Kruger takes a hit. Puck goes out and sent all the way down. Brown and Bergeron on 15-13 to go. Kruger chips it forward, takes a hit. Brown comes in hard on the forecheck. Brown battling in the backboard. Puck comes loose, go over to Militia. Militia go off of the sideboard. Bergeron and Campbell working. Campbell bumps a guy off. Puck over to Bergeron. Bergeron to Przgintis. Przgintis, puck gets deflected. He's got a hold of it, gets it up to Brown. Brown, cross ice for Kruger. Kruger gets interfered with. No call. Puck in the middle of the ice. Militia have to regroup. Brown giving pressure. Comes over, pushes the puck into the middle of the ice. Bergeron is there. Berge tries to get it up for Brown. Brown gets a body on the guy. Puck in the middle over to Paulo. Paulo chips in. Brown changes. Paulo comes out with Credidio and Carter. Puck across. Off of, that is definitely icing. No hand, but at least they called it. $14:15 to go in the game. Rubicki and Campbell at D, Credidio, Paulo, and Carter at forward. Paulo take the draw. Face off in feet. Credidio comes in to help. Credidio gets it over to Rubicki. Rubicki shot hits Carter, and Militia get it in through the neutral zone. Militia are very quick to get it out of the zone and through the neutral territory. Shot, puck's in front, gets cleared out. Militia have it up at the point. Walking the blue line, shot into Cutting's glove, and we get a whistle. Nietzsche, Letcher, Credidio, Nietzsche, Letcher, and Pulaskis come out. Pulaskis, well, good job by Letcher to read that pass. It hits Pulaskis, though, and then we send it down for an icing. $13:43 to go. Same personnel. Puck one back to Miller. Miller off of the board and down. That's going to go for an icing. Oh, no call. All right. Letcher gets it. Militia get a hold of it. Back in through the neutral zone. We got one guy behind Miller. Miller sees him, ties him up. Puck behind the net. Miller comes away with it. Up for Nietzsche. Nietzsche gets there, brings it across the blue line and in. Miller streaking to the net. Puck wide and bouncing behind. Puck to the near board. Miller comes back, tries to get a stick on it. Puck lost in the neutral zone by Militia. Letcher has it. Over to Onak. Onak tried to flip it ahead, but it hits a skate, and Militia get it back. Good hit by Reynolds. Puck knocks loose. Paulo's come on. Cross ice. Centering pass. Good stick by Paulo. Knocked over to Reynolds. Reynolds looking for space. Was looking for Paulo. Missed him just a little ahead. Chilicki comes on as Letcher goes for a change. Aldridge in the middle for Chilicki. Chilicki gets a stick on it, goes on net. The Militia goaltender just covers it. 12:24 to go. Still 1-0 Fury. Face-off one back, but Militia steps in front. They take it on the near board. Cross ice. Good job by Prisgintis to get a stick on it. Militia bring it in. Prisgintis throws it back up. Militia able to keep it. Puck into the corner. Now behind the net. Militia come away with it. Walk up the board. Get it over to the D. D walking down, looking for space. Up to the point. Back over to the near board. Shot deflected, goes high and bounces off of the glass into the corner. Prisgintis hits it over to Reynolds. Puck goes behind the net for Aldridge. Aldridge up to Chalicki, bounces past him and into the neutral zone. Good job by Reynolds to get a body on a guy to cause a turnover. Chalicki brings it in. Kruger comes on. Bergeron comes on. Chalicki is just getting hit in the zone. The ref just is letting everything happen. Chalicki definitely was offsides. The boys knew it. Nothing happened. Back through the neutral zone. Good job by Berge. Puck in skates. It goes in. Gets dumped in by Militia. Bergeron goes to get it. Over to Rybicki. Rybicki up. It's high, so they can't touch it. They touch it anyway. We're going to get an in-zone faceoff. And a change. So Pulaskis, Nietzsche, Letcher come on with Campbell and Rybicki. Militia win the face-off and send it to the corner. Go D to D behind the net and up to the near board. Cross ice. And bring it into the zone. Good flow pattern by this Militia team. Puck flipped out by Letcher and into the neutral zone. Knocked in by Militia. The ref called off, but then let it go. Pulaskis through the neutral zone. Brings it in, tries to pass over to Letcher. Nietzsche gets a stick on it, absorbs a hit and puts it back in. Nietzsche goes for a change. Kruger comes back out. Kruger, good steal, has Pulaskis with him, tries to pass cross. First attempt was blocked, second attempt didn't connect. So an opportunity with Kruger and Pulaskis stopped by Militia. Credidio, Carter, and Kruger come out to take the face-off with Onak and Miller. Puck in feet, taken away by Militia and in through the neutral zone. Shot wide of Gage, goes behind the net. Over to the corner. Credidio is there working. Puck is tied up. Kruger is in there helping. Puck comes out to Kruger. Kruger cross for Carter. Deflected and out by Carter. Now back into the zone. Militia carry it forward. Shot and knocked out by Onak. Credidio supplying pressure. Paulo comes on. Good stick by Credidio. Ties up. Puck underneath. Go D to D. Carter's still out. Paulo trying to get in the way. Puck goes over to Aldridge. Aldridge keeps it in the neutral zone. And then Paulo comes in to tie up. Carter making Militia change direction. Puck into the middle of the ice. And Militia get it in. Chipped back out. And that's going to go down for an icing. 8:29 to go, still 1-0 Fury. Reynolds and Chalicki are going to come on. Militia win that back. One-timer by the D, deflected in front, and Militia get a goal from the D. So 1-1 with 8:25 to go. Puck underneath Paulo. Paulo's pinned down by Militia. Fury come away with it. Puck up to Chilicki. Chilicki over to Reynolds. Reynolds past Apollo, deflected, and over to the far board. Reynolds trying to get a stick on it. Puck comes into the neutral zone. Paulo does a nice job to keep deflecting that puck. Puck comes back to off of the glass, kicked back in by Militia and into the corner. Priskintis working in the corner against Militia over to the near board for Chilicki. Chilicki gets it up to Paulo, who gets it to Reynolds. It just jumps away from him. Priskintis, with his long reach, able to get a hand on that. Militia dumps it in deep. Campbell over to Priskintis. Priskintis tries to get it out of the zone. It gets knocked back in, and Reynolds does get it out and goes wide of the net for an icing. Nietzsche, Letcher, Rybicki, Onak, and Pulauskas are on. 7:27 to go. Puck comes up to Nietzsche. Nietzsche carries it in, gets knocked away and into the corner. Nietzsche absorbs a hit. Pulauskas comes in to help. Puck flips up, still in feet. Pulauskas battling hard in the corner, trying to get the puck to move. Nietzsche's there helping. All right, so we got a whistle. Looks like Pulauskas. A little bit of assholery by Militia. So 5-on-5. Carter's going to come out with Letcher and Nietzsche. Letcher wins that back. Rybicki pushes it back in the corner. Nietzsche comes away with it. Puck gets lost in feet, and Militia does finally get it out. One guy comes across. Rybicki puts a body on him. Puck to the corner. Losing an edge. Puck in the middle of the ice. Carter gets to it. Over to Letcher. Letcher crossing the red line and brings it into the zone. Looking for space. Centering pass in front. And Carter just lays out the goalie. Carter in his defense was pushed in, cross-checked in the back, taken out by the Militia. So they're gonna put Carter in. A lengthy explanation. And we're gonna go back on the kill. Paulo and Reynolds come out with Campbell and Rubicki. Militia control the face-off and go down low. Good stick by Rubicki, pushing that puck over to the near board, back up to the D, into the point, and then over to the far board, back to the point, back to the far board. Pass cross ice gets deflected. Militia have to dump it in. Rubicki gets there, puts the puck over to Paulo. Kept in by Militia. Militia circling up. Paulo trying to keep everybody wide. Rubicki knocks it away. Deflected in front. Paulo comes away with it and gets it out of the zone. Militia have to reset up. Go over to the far board. Reynolds is there. Cross ice. Carried forward and dumped in. Puck goes behind the net and over to the far board. Campbell gets a stick on it, goes behind the net. Rubicki pushing his guy wide to get it back up to the point. Paulo comes out. Puck to the middle, shot goes wide. Militia put it back up to the point. Paulo getting a pick thrown at him. He gets past it and gets up. Militia have to put it back into the middle. Under the near board, in front, save cutting over to the corner. Militia centering, missing. D keeps it in. Tries to get past Reynolds. Reynolds gets it out. Reynolds is hooked. No call. Militia bring it back behind their net. We'll get a change. Nietzsche comes out and Letcher. Militia to the near board. Carried in. Letcher is there. Slows this guy down. Puck knocked away. Militia bring it up to the top of the zone and then carry back in. Shot. Beats cutting. 1 second to go on the penalty. And it's 2-1 Militia. So 4:34 to go in the game. 2-1 Militia. Pulauskas, Nietzsche, and Letcher. Brzgintis and Onak at D. Face off. Won by Nietzsche. Pulauskas knocks it in. Letcher dumps it deep. Pulauskas trying to get there on the forecheck. Militia get it out and into the neutral zone. Onak collects it, brings it up to Letcher. Letcher circling. Looking for space. Gets it up to Pulauskas. Pulauskas loses it at his feet. Letcher winds up back with it. Waits for everybody to tag up and then brings it in. No, he tagged. A little hand-holding session going on here. All right, same personnel stay. A lot of chirping by the Militia team. What appears to be a bunch of Andover kids, which is another prep school. Puck in front, gets deflected. Brzgintis gets it up to Letcher. Letcher gets it out of the zone over to Nietzsche. Nietzsche carries forward, takes a burst, gets past him. Poke check by the goaltender, and then he throws his helmet off just to make sure he gets a whistle. It's a good goaltender trick. Paulo, Reynolds, and Chalicki with Miller and Campbell. Puck one, Reynolds gets a shot on. and save by the Militia goaltender. Paulo takes the draw. Militia knock it back to their D and go behind the net. Cross ice, intercepted by Campbell. Chalicki tags up. Puck goes behind, over to the near board. Past Miller over to Kruger. Kruger chips it in. And that goes down for an icing. 3:07 to go. Nietzsche, Pulauskas, and Letcher come back on. Rubicki and Priskintis at D. Puck hits up high. We'll get a face-off in zone. 3 minutes to go, still 2-1 Militia. Face-off, one back, goes over to Rubicki. Rubicki in the neutral zone. All right, Militia's gonna get a misconduct. Looks like the refs have even had enough of their mouth. So we're going to go on the power play with 2:53 to go after the misconduct call. Paulo, Reynolds, Chalicki with Campbell and Onak. Face-off won by Militia. They send it in deep. Puck into the corner. Onak pins his guy, comes out, but pinned on the near board. Onak gets slew-footed. Reynolds gets it out. Over to Onak. Onak to Campbell. Campbell. Cross ice for Reynolds. Reynolds. Cross ice for Campbell. Campbell carries it in. Over to Onak. Onak. Down for Chalicki. Chalicki. Back to Onak. Onak. Shot is blocked. And Onak carrying forward. Brings it into the zone. Leaves for Reynolds. Reynolds takes a hit. Puck in middle. I don't know what we got a whistle for. Oh, helmet comes off, so equipment malfunction. All right, minute 58 to go. We're going to pull gauge. 1:06 to go on the power play. Letcher comes on. Paulo wins that over to Reynolds. Reynolds working on the boards with Letcher. Puck comes out to Campbell. Campbell shot in front. Had Paulo there. Miss it. Reynolds shot goes high over to the corner. Letcher has it. Letcher over to Campbell. Campbell. Cross for Onak. Onak down low in front. Paulo and Reynolds working at it. Goes behind the net. Chalicki tries to get it over to Onak. Goes into the corner. Paulo gets it to Reynolds. Campbell coming in hard. Puck pass is deflected into the corner. Puck goes in low for Chalicki. Chalicki. Net was knocked off, and we get a whistle. 31 seconds to go on the power play. Minute 24 in the game. Militia wins that back and then sends it 27 seconds to go. Onak goes to get it. Shalicki loses his temper and slashes a Militia player. So we lose the power play and we go to 4-on-4. So 22 seconds to 4-on-4 and then we're on the kill. Face off one back over to Onak. Onak gets held. Puck comes over to Campbell. Campbell behind the net. Comes free. Gets it up to Pulauskas. Pulauskas over to Nietzsche. Nietzsche shot. And the goaltender knocks the net off. Pulauskas takes a couple of crosses. That's taunting, ref. That's a penalty. Still taunting. Three guys can't just come up to a guy and start taunting him, guy. .5 seconds to go. 3 seconds remaining. We've got an empty net. It's going to be 5-on-5 here soon with an empty net after this face-off. Pulauskas pushes it into the corner. Puck comes over to Reynolds. Reynolds chips it in for Pulauskas. Pulauskas takes a slash. No call again. Puck over to Reynolds. Reynolds shot. Save by Militia. Nietzsche takes a cross check. Puck dropped behind the face-off circle. Pulauskas comes away with it, tries to center. Pulauskas gets a slash, gets it over to Prisgitis, back to Pulauskas. Pulauskas shot, goes wide over to Campbell. Campbell tries to get a centering pass. Militia try to get it out, hits Campbell, gets past Reynolds over to Prisgitis. Militia dump it in deep, Prisgitis gets there. Puck behind the net and out in front. Militia shot, blocked by Pulauskas. They get it back. Prisgitis gets a stick on it. Puck high stick! And they just run the clock out. It's one of the worst officiating games I've ever watched. This is definitely the biggest asshole team I've ever seen. And it's hard to say that about teenagers. But we got one more game tomorrow. And we'll see you all then.